Hey guys, it's Onyxy and welcome to Paladins.gg. I have a confession to make. About a year ago, I stopped playing Paladins for many different reasons, but the main one was that I stopped feeling like I'm playing a game and having fun, and rather that I was doing a chore, like eating soup with a fork. I was feeling really frustrated and angry most of the time, so I decided to cut my losses and quit the game. Although I did quit, I paid close attention to what the devs were doing in order to make the game better. At first, it looked like it was just another tale Evil Mojo told us to buy more skins and spend money on the game, but as time went on, my opinion started to change. So I've decided to give credit where credit's due. Here's 10 things Evil Mojo did to improve Paladins. Number 1, they split Highrez into multiple studios. Before the split, Highrez was directly responsible for developing all of their games, the two biggest ones being Paladins and Smite. I wasn't able to find exact information on which team did what back then, but if I understood them correctly, most of the teams were shared between some or all of Highrez games. That all changed when they decided to split Highrez into dedicated studios for each game they produced, and that's how we got Evil Mojo. Now we have a dedicated team exclusively for Paladins, which has helped them allocate more resources into important fields. Number 2, they implemented the hunt. Many of you have heard about the hunt before, so to summarize it quickly, it's a community-wide effort to hunt and report major bugs in the game. I know a lot of you call this game by another nickname, but the devs stood up and admitted that they need our help. They can try to fix the bugs if we help them and provide them with gameplay examples and as much information about the bugs as possible. I'm happy to say that a big number of game-breaking bugs is now gone from the game, and the hunt doesn't look like it's ending anytime soon. Number 3, they rebalanced the game. The infamous burst meta was one of the darkest places the game has ever been in. How many of you remember or even know what death and taxes is? If at least half of you got chills from that phrase, I did my job correctly. Leon was one of the most broken champions ever brought to Paladins. When Highrez decided to combine her two auto-aim abilities with Cauterize 3 from the very start of the game, the Paladins' dark ages begun. Healing had no purpose. The most important thing became to kill Leon as soon as possible. So what the devs did was remove everything that blocks healing or does extra damage to shields from loadouts and talents. Now, 2 years after that decision, the game is more balanced than it's ever been. Number 4, they removed the 4th talent. Adding on to my previous point, when they rebalanced the game, they decided to remove 1 talent from every champion and reduce the number to the current 3. That was an amazing decision for a few different reasons, but the easiest one to spot is there is 1 less talent to balance for and against. With only 3 talents, the balancing became much easier and gameplay became much more fluid. Talents that were thought of as core components of a specific character were added partially or fully into that character's regular kit. Number 5, they slowed down the PTS cycle. The Paladins PTS cycle used to be very quick. Less than 2 weeks would pass and the patch would go into the live game with all the bugs that were still not found or fixed. Now the PTS cycle is longer than 1 month and the game is better for it. Yes, the patches come much slower now, but the slower tempo allows the devs to find and fix as many bugs as they can. Number 6, they brought in new people. Evil Mojo decided to make another radical decision. Bring in fresh eyes and fresh minds into the game. One of my favorite changes on this list is exactly this thing they did. This allowed them to see solutions they might not have seen had they not decided to shake things up a bit, and we are thankful. Number 7, they reworked the item store. Who remembers the time when you could buy only 1 item per type? Yeah, me neither. Opening up the item store allowed more freedom to counterplay as well as making it possible for us to try out new combinations. Today, it is fairly common to see a Furia or a Grover with both Chronos and Morale boost. But what would you do if you had to choose only one? They reworked shields. This is one of the newest changes to the game, and many players are still getting used to it. The devs brought down the ability to demolish shields with 1 or 2 shots, but they also nerfed the shields themselves pretty heavily. Shields now feel impactful even in the late game. Number 9, they ended the reign of Cauterize. Another new one. It came to the live game at the same time as the shields rework. Now you're not able to completely stop the healing received even in the final rounds, but the healing itself isn't as impactful as it was before. Healers still feel good, and the rest of the team along with them. Number 10. Making all the cards free. This is the single most important change Highrez ever did to the game. This change came along with the death of the infamous OB64, the lowest point Paladins has ever fallen to. For those who weren't with us during the open beta, Highrez decided to make Paladins pay to win. All the cards were unlocked from the start, but you needed to buy loot boxes to get upgrades to those cards. Basically, if you spent a lot of money on the game, your cards would be stronger than other players' cards. So you would pay to win. Luckily, that horror ended before the game was released, and it's all behind us now. After that misstep, the cards remained free for everyone. So there you go, guys. 10 things that Evil Mojo / Highrez did to make the game a better place. Of course, the game is nowhere near bug-free and stable, but it is nowhere close to the state it once was. In some aspects, the game is unrecognizable. I'll try to mix it up, so some videos may be lists like this one, some may be VODs, and so on. So make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future content. Stay safe and wash your hands, gamers. GG.